guys. Welcome again to another episode of the FAMcast. Trevor, what episode is this? Is this 34?
This is 35.
This is 35? Have we really missed? Did I miss an episode? Either way, it's 35. It's episode 35. And we are again graced by a special guest. Today, we have the ultra sneezy Ashley Christ.
Oh my god, I'm so glad. I hope that my mic was muted for that.
It totally was. You're fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, that was like 3 sneezes in a row. I'm setting a world record here.
Ashley Christ is a stream coach, a content creator, and the host of the Stream Coach podcast. Did I get all that right?
Correct.
Awesome. We're moving along. I found you on Instagram. You post all kinds of stuff. Basically, you interview other streamers, for as far as I can tell, about how to do streaming, like what things can make them more successful. Am I so far along the ballpark?
You are correct.
So today we're going to be talking about there's a lot of things going on with Twitch right now, especially, and this is perfect. We've scheduled this like a week ago, but it's perfect because they just had a new community guideline come out today rather, for rules. But there's a lot of controversy right now with bikini streamers, as we're going to call them, harassment of females mostly, and yeah, there's just a lot of complaints about where Twitch is, where it's going. People are worried about the Twitch society, if you will, and we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss how we can fix some of those problems, hopefully, how we can see some of those problems, and how we can go forward and make this all work, and where we would like to see Twitch go as it grows, because it is growing. It is here to stay, in my opinion. So there you go. But first, before that, now that I've talked all this time, let's give our guest a chance to talk. What is a stream coach? Like, can you like go into what a stream coach does? And I'd like to know how it began.
No, I love this question because this is not an extremely common thing that you see in the Twitch space, right? Like you see stream coach and you assume, oh, this is just another person putting like coach or consultant in their profile that doesn't really know what they're talking about, but wants to look smart. No, so basically what I do is that I do the teaching side of helping people learn how to stream, which is coming through in my YouTube videos. So all of the content that I create literally everywhere, whether that's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, everything that I create is meant to help streamers learn more about how to consistently and accurately and correctly pursue their dream of learning to stream. Right? But teaching is completely different from coaching. I can make YouTube videos all day about branding and marketing and messaging and how to make a tweet that people will actually retweet and how to find your niche. But coaching is completely different from that. Teaching is telling you what the subjects are. It's helping you learn, like, what is a niche? What is a brand? What is marketing? How do I tweet? But coaching is more focused on the student. It's focused on the person that needs the help. It's training them to understand the concepts and helping them to use the information and to actually understand it in a way that they can use it to implement ideas and goals and just all these large topics and ideas into their channel. Okay. And so it's completely different from being like just a consultant where you're giving advice to people and you're kind of giving them the ideas that you think and the resolutions that you think that they need. It's like guiding someone's mind to find those answers for themselves so that they're more able to rely on themselves in the future.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a whole lot. Where did it begin? Where were you when you were like, I could just tell people how to do this? Like,
yeah. So basically what happened was all right. So I discovered Twitch in 2012 and my ex-boyfriend showed it to me and I was like, this is real weird. This is real creepy. Why do people watch other people do this? And in 2013, I finally started streaming and eventually I took it full time. And I was full-time for about 6 months, but I never really got my stream to the point where I was like, I felt comfortable with it. Like I never got all these big goals that I wanted to achieve for it. And I really started to think like, okay, what's the difference between what I'm doing and what somebody like, Shroud or Admiral Bulldog or Dr. Disrespect is doing? Like, why are they pulling those numbers and I'm not? Mm-hmm. And I know not to compare someone else's highlight reel to like my blooper reel, right? So like I'm seeing them in their prime, but I don't know the steps that they took to get there. So I basically tried to start learning how to reverse engineer their success about 3 years ago. And the reason that started was because I started listening to a podcast, which is like the weirdest thing. Like I went to the gym one time and I listened to a podcast and all of a sudden my mind exploded with this entire realm of like business and marketing and funnels and selling online products and like just this entire world that I'd never been introduced to before. Mm-hmm. And at that point I was like, wow, there is so much just intersection between what is useful in that world and what's useful in this world. And so I started to kind of pull all these major concepts and ideas from that online entrepreneurial space. And I just got absolutely obsessed with learning everything as much as I possibly could about it. So it was like literally all of my free time spent on reading business and marketing and entrepreneurship books and listening to podcasts that were talking about these in-depth topics I've never heard of before, just consuming like all of this information that I possibly could consume, because you can't go to college for this stuff, right? You can't. I mean, technically there is a college now. There might be a couple of colleges now for it, but there just isn't like a solid space that you can go to that, hey, I'm gonna get my degree in learning how to be successful on Twitch, right? Yeah. So you kind of have to do all of that work on your own. And yeah, that's what I did. The past like 3 years I've been just learning as much as I possibly could. And then eventually I realized like I had a ton of problems whenever I first started streaming. I made so many mistakes. I did some of the dumbest things that you could possibly do on a Twitch stream. And, I'm still around and I still streamed for a long time after I made those mistakes, and I made more mistakes. And finally, after making those mistakes and kind of failing upwards, I've also accumulated all of this awesome relevant information for people and and came to the conclusion that like there are other people that are experiencing it. I'm not alone in my experiences. Other people need this information and it's useful for them, and I need to help them. Somebody's got to help them. There are a lot of people that are sharing information, and there are a lot of large successful streamers that attempt to help as much as they can, but it's different helping in your spare time and then streaming for like 8 hours a day versus somebody who is completely focused on the aspirations and the goals and the information, just distribution for smaller streamers and smaller creators in general.
I feel like I might need a stream coach after hearing
Yeah, it's still an extremely new concept, and so I'm having the unique experience of having to kind of explain to people like, why is this necessary? Why is this something that's important?
Have you met many others? Sorry, I know we have lots to talk about. I'm sorry, but I'm just
no, you're good. Go for it.
One thing. Have you met many other stream coaches, or are you kind of like a trendsetter? Or the spearhead. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty spearheaded, but there are a lot of people that are doing like consultants and kind of the same stuff that I am. There are a lot of great people that are extremely knowledgeable and try to help out as much as they can. But I would say like I'm the only person that has kind of branded themselves entirely everywhere as the person that like helps with, like, I'm not focused on growing my own stream, like I'm focused on helping other people grow theirs. And most of the people that I know that are consultants in this space like have their own stream as well, which is, obviously awesome. Like I want them to grow their communities and to be proud of what they're doing and to really enjoy it. But there's a lot of us. There's definitely a lot of us doing work like this.
Okay. You're just the first one I've ever met. And then do you have a degree in marketing or anything like that, or is this just like you just naturally fell into it, and like it just seems like you have a mind for it? And so I'm curious whether like you have you were already like predisposition to this, or I'm not asking this question very well.
Yeah, no,
you get what I mean.
No, yeah, I totally get it. So, I actually don't have a degree. Okay, just to answer that real quickly. And the reason for that is because, so in like high school and junior high and all of that, I was always in like gifted and talented programs, and I was always, like in all the oh my gosh, National Honor Society and all of those like kind of honors classes I was always in. But whenever I got to college, it did not feel like a good way to spend my time. Not because having a degree is invaluable, because it's extremely valuable. It's an amazing way to get your foot in the door and be taken seriously in a lot of different places. But to me, as somebody who just has kind of always taught themselves things, like sitting in a classroom and learning algebra whenever I didn't even know like what direction I wanted to go. Like I started off doing nutrition, and then I wanted to be pre-med, and then like I had no solid direction. And eventually I was like, college is not for me, because I don't know what I want to do yet. And I'm wasting all of this money, and I'm spending all of this time learning stuff that I know I'm not going to be using. And I feel like a lot of people feel guilted. This is something that like I felt really guilty for a while, is they feel guilty that, they haven't gone to college and now they're not being taken seriously because they don't have a degree. But it's really not needed. It really isn't absolutely necessary for you to be able to accomplish your dreams in your life. Right? Like there's so much information out there, and if you really have the attitude and the drive to achieve this goal, or to achieve this like ideal career path, your dream job, there's more than enough information on like YouTube and through podcasts and through all these other platforms that you can learn everything that you need to know to be successful in a position like that. But your struggle is going to be getting people to take you seriously because you don't have that degree.
Right.
So you're going to have to find a way, like, how do I show people that I'm an expert in something?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. College, it seems like everyone peddles it pretty hard, but I definitely agree it's not necessary by any means to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great place to be. I don't want to like denounce institutional education at all. It's amazing, and there's a lot of valuable information that you can get from there, but it's not the only path.
No, it certainly is not. I hope you didn't I hope you didn't feel like I was like attacking your like stream coach. I was like, do you even have a degree, young lady?
No. I've actually been waiting for somebody to ask me that question, because I definitely see that now, like as I've learned so much and kind of been talking about these concepts, I see how people can get the idea that I went to college for this, but
you definitely seem to have a passion for it, and you have a mind for it, 100%.
Yeah, and that can be developed for sure.
Gotcha. No, yeah, absolutely. It's just like in my experience, you're the pro, but in my experience, it's like streaming. Like when you first start streaming, you don't know like what to say, or like, okay, I guess I just talk about what I'm doing in the game. And it's like you begin to kind of like learn, oh, okay, there's a rhythm to how I work this and everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Trevor, one of our biggest complaints about our last interview was I talked way too much. So Trevor, do you have any questions for this little intro segment?
I think it's because like Zach said, I've never heard of a stream coach before, and it's great that there's especially that you're spearheading it. It seems like I hope that it kind of sets the trailblazer for this, because I'd love to see more people become stream coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that I think a lot of people, especially with the affiliate program just starting up a couple months ago, at least it feels like it was only a couple months ago.
It's been like May or April of last year.
Maybe.
Has it been that long?
It's been a while.
That's when I got my affiliate, was like right off the bat.
Which, I mean, that alone was great, because it opened it up for so many smaller streamers that never really thought that they could get to partner, and this was like a great stepping stone. So having a coach to kind of help you along the way, to help you be like, okay, well, this is working really well, but maybe you could do a little bit better in this section of your branding. So I don't know. I'm just really impressed. I've I've never heard of it before, but I'm really sold on it now.
Well, and I like the idea because, like, especially as a small streamer, sometimes you feel like you're just grasping in the dark sometimes.
It does.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, okay, this worked this time, but it's not working now. Is it because I did it on the wrong day, or I was playing the wrong game, or maybe that wasn't the optimal time for that? Like, oh my goodness. I lay awake in bed at night and think about this crap. But,
dude, I know. And that's the thing is, like, I was in the exact same boat whenever I first started. It was like, I feel so overwhelmed. I have to learn about all the social media stuff, and I have to learn about streaming, and I have to learn how to be entertaining on camera, and like, it's very overwhelming. It's a lot of information, and there's no like course you can take, right? There's no like, this is what you learn, and then you learn this, and then you learn this, and then you learn this. And so a lot of people try to learn everything all at once, and they get really overwhelmed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Well, you talked about your time streaming, so let's just jump right into there. When you did stream, obviously you're a stream coach now, so mostly you do interviews, but when you were just a lowly normal streamer, what was your experience on Twitch as a woman streaming games?
Yeah. Oh my God. Awful.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like mostly awful. Yeah. Yeah. So being extremely inexperienced at, Twitch in general, yes, but also just the online kind of community. Like, I didn't get my first gaming PC until 2012 when I found Twitch. I'd always been a console gamer before then, and I'd been around on like Reddit and 4chan and all of that, so I kind of like knew how the culture can be toxic, but at the same time I'd never been like a direct kind of focus of that, right? So one of my first streams, actually, I was raided by 4chan, and I had like hundreds of people come in, and they were threatening to report me if I didn't take my shirt off on stream.
Which can be scary to a new streamer because you said it was one of your first couple of streams, right?
Yeah, and it was so scary. It was very scary because I'm like, and I don't know the process at that point, right? I don't know, like, if you get banned from Twitch, do I get to come back? Like, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. I don't know if I'm just completely... And can these people actually get me banned? I don't know. And it was really scary to kind of be at the focus of everyone like that. But aside from that, like, specific situation, in general, just the gaming culture just has a natural kind of toxicity to it that a lot of people are doing a lot of great work to really help alleviate those issues, and a lot of great like anti-harassment kind of cultural anthropology individuals. Like, lots of people are just doing incredible work in the space to make it better and make it a better experience. Because the thing is, if we want gaming culture to survive, which I'm sure everybody that plays games does, because we all love it and we want more games and we want to be able to play them for as long as we can. If we want the culture to survive, it has to be an inclusive culture. Like, it has to be something that women, POCs, like LGBTQ, all of these minority groups can come to, and they don't have to be afraid of what they're going to experience. They don't have to, like, they actually feel represented in their games. They actually feel like part of the community. They actually feel like they can reach out to organizations and developers and just all of these other opportunities that the normal, like, established kind of community of gamers, like the normal hierarchy, the people that are at the top for whatever reason, can get all these opportunities. But the people that are kind of looked down on because maybe they're not the best for whatever reason the org decides, but they have equal opportunity. Right. And that's what it's going to take to make sure that gaming culture is able to survive forever.
You just answered like 5 of my questions. God, you're both the best and the worst type of interview.
Dude, I've been there. I've totally been there. I'm like, you're good. What do I ask now?
Yeah. Well, this has been a podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
All done. Time to eat her chicken. Let's go.
So I'm going to jump around a little bit, but, having experienced that, having seen the toxicity, especially towards female streamers, I mean, obviously it's mostly towards female streamers, and that's what we're talking about right now. I mean, there's some trolling to men too, but we're talking about the main issue of bikini streamers, and then slut shaming. I don't know if that's too strong a phrase to use, but what do you think it all comes from? Like, why do you think it's so pervasive? I think I'm using that word correctly in the particularly the gaming community. It feels like, I mean, obviously there's an issue in society by and large of women having equal power to men. Do you think it's the trickle down from that, or do you think it's gatekeeping? Which, I mean, that's an obvious yes, but I mean, what do you think it is a symptom of?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things. I think that just the overarching like culture of North America right now especially is extremely focused on, you know, women's rights, and it's extremely focused on equality overall.
Right.
And I think for gaming culture, like, I actually saw this really incredible article today that I think just absolutely nails it. And it's talking about like toxic masculinity, right? And I know a lot of people hear that combination of words and they're like, ugh, toxic masculinity. But it does exist. Like, it is a thing. There are men that are just so harmed by this because they can't express their emotions because they feel like they have to fit into this specific idea of like what a guy should be. Like, he has to be strong, he has to provide for his family, He can't have emotions, he has to be like this one thing, right? But there's such a spectrum, and there's an infinite possibilities as to who we all can be in our lives, and how we can represent who we are and how we really connect with our gender. And I think the idea of this article really nailed it, because it said that there is that like archetype of like the toxic masculine like dude bro, right? The like jock type of guy where he's just maybe, you know, he's not a guy that's like interested in games, but he's a guy that just, you know, he's just to be stereotypical here, just to like kind of put this image in your guys' head for the purposes of making a comparison. He is, you know, going to the gym all the time, like lifting a lot of weights, like kind of is a little bit misogynistic towards girls, or at least like kind of controlling, and wants them to fit into like a specific type as well. Just that typical guy, right? That typical kind of like jock dude bro. And then you've got that same kind of idea, but it's in gaming culture as well. And it's not that the outside of gaming culture men are like, oh, how do I explain this? So it's more that those men are they're a symptom of a disease that is present in gaming culture as well. And the way that it presents in gaming culture is that the men in gaming kind of make themselves they kind of like are proud of the fact that they're not a typical dude jock bro, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so that presents itself with the same kind of symptoms, but in gaming culture. So like maybe these guys that aren't in gaming culture are going to the gym all the time and kind of like being misogynistic towards women, but you've also got these guys that, you know, they're really proud of the gaming community, and they're proud that they don't go to the gym, or they don't, you know, they're not interested in sports, or like they kind of are misogynistic as well because they don't think like either women can play games, or they don't take them seriously when they're playing games. They don't listen to the women when they're trying to like lead in games. It's definitely like, just because we're in gaming culture doesn't mean that we are impervious to all of the problems in society.
Right. So it's almost like a distorted reflection of the same, like the bro culture and the gaming culture kind of misogynistic thing. It's present in every single culture, just because that's just how it's been for so long, right? And in North America, like, not to call you guys out or anything, like, but like white men have always kind of had this
opportunity in life where they've definitely benefited from just being white men. Like, just, even if you look back, 200 years ago, you're marrying women and they have a dowry and they're basically property. Like, that isn't something that just goes away over like 50 or 100 years. Like, there are ideas that we feel are normalized now because they've just been around for so long that might be inherently a little misogynistic too. But
we're working on it.
I digress. Yeah, we're working. It's getting a lot. I think it's getting a lot better. And of all the cultures to be involved in, like, gaming culture is definitely one of the most progressive, in my opinion. I feel like I see so many people in this culture. Maybe it's just because I'm part of it, but maybe it's because this is actually true. But I feel like I see so many more people that are, have more progressive ideals and care about dealing with and solving these issues.
Right.
Sorry.
It seems like in gaming culture, it's either like my personal experience is it's like it's just two extremes. Like, it's either super positive, or it's just the worst type of human sludge.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my experience. We actually had, I don't know if you follow AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick. It's a speedrun marathon. We had one of the announcers from that, Proto Magical Girl, who's a trans female. We had her on last week, and she was talking about the kind of like the speed running culture and how accepting it is and everything. And I do agree with you. It seems it's almost I hate to stereotype, but I'm going to.
Do it, please.
Culture, we've got a lot of nerds, and we've got a lot of people that were picked on in high school, and I'm one of them. And we were beaten down, but then we discovered this internet space and this gaming space, and we discover other people like us. And we begin to realize high school didn't matter or any of this, and now I'm starting down a rabbit trail. The point being is sometimes we are more accepting, but then you've got the flip, and you've got those that are, we were picked on so much, and now we're like, well, no, this is our space, which I feel like is happening a little bit in Twitch. And I feel like maybe that's happening, and that's part of the problem with the misogyny, as I mentioned before, gatekeepers. Yeah. And the idea that this is our space, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was banned for like 5 days.
Oh.
He went on a rant. You know who I'm talking about, Trevor?
Yep.
Trainwreck?
Yep.
Yes, exactly. And he was like, we need to take our space back. And like, he used these words that definitely felt like he had been hurt before, never worked through that hurt, and didn't have a way to open his heart to people. And sorry, I'm getting way off topic.
No, you're good.
The point being is I think there's a lot of problems with Twitch. Not with Twitch, but with some of the things going on with Twitch. But I think they're making some moves to fix some things. They're trying to work with, especially they mentioned harassment a lot today in the community guidelines. But for you, what do you feel like is the answer to moving forward? Because obviously Twitch is growing, which we can talk about that in a bit too. Twitch is growing, and as Twitch grows, we're going to see more people, more different types of people, more people with different beliefs and feelings. And it's going to only have to get more, I don't want to say restricted, but there need to be boundaries and rules in place when you have more people. Otherwise, it just becomes chaos. So what do you feel like is the answer to fixing the current problem we have now, which is the misogyny, the gatekeeping, the harassment? Where do you see that going? And I mean, what's just your opinion on it?
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of work to reach a point of equality, right? It's not something that can easily happen overnight, and it's gonna be it has to include the people that are already kind of at the top of the hierarchy. Right. So that's a really important part of the equation. And there are a lot of amazing orgs that are doing really great work. So an org that I work with sometimes called Manakind, they fight for inclusivity and diversity in esports and gaming. And they're actually funded by like Intel and ESL and have like a decent amount of support. So they're able to reach out to all these other organizations and support them as well. Like there's, Diversify Gaming, there's Able Gamers, there's Anxiety Gaming, there's so many other people that are recognizing these groups that need help, or these groups that just have a voice, but they're more marginalized, and so their voice seems a little bit smaller in the community. And so it just takes like the people that are more established just supporting those people that, you know, deserve to be equals, because that's what we're fighting for, and also not expecting a handout because we provide them our platform as well. So like, just because we're, you know, we might be retweeting things from like POC streamers, and we might be supporting that content, but just because we do that doesn't mean that we're some kind of like incredible ally that deserves to be kind of bowed down to, right? Like that's just something that we should do because they make good content. Like that's just a part of being a human being, I think, is just to be kind to other people and to show them that they're valuable and support them and not expect things in return.
Exactly.
No, that's the perfect answer. I think it's a great answer. I mean, it has to come down from the top. Trickle down kindness. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, I lost my place in my questions.
I mean, they're the ones, not to cut you off, Zach, but they're the ones that like these top streamers, they're the ones that are going to set the example for smaller streamers, especially since it seems like there's such a young audience. Obviously Twitch has viewers from all ages, but there's such a large young audience that are so impressionable. So when they see, you know, Dr. Disrespect, I won't go into it, but when I see Dr. Disrespect, you know, get a little racist, you know, with some of his accents, right? So that can hurt, like, especially some of those impressionable viewers. That can hurt, you know, someone of that race that feels a little betrayed. They might look up to you know, these larger streamers, but also for another younger streamer that's looking to get into streaming, he's going to think that that's okay, or she's going to think that that's okay.
And that's exactly what happened to me too. Is like, whenever I first found Twitch, I saw these large streamers that were being like misogynistic and very, very rude, like saying terrible things like racism, homophobia, just all of it. And the R word is what I really hate that one. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's how it is. And so that's the way that I spoke whenever I first got in the community too. And I alienated people by doing that. I was exclusive whenever I did that. I made people feel bad because of the way that, not that it wasn't my fault, because it definitely was, for kind of perpetuating these terrible ideas, but that is something that happens. Like, people are extremely impressionable, and it doesn't even have to be like if you're young, right? Like, yes, that's a huge part of it. It's most of it because young minds are extremely impressionable, but also think about people that are just new. And they just show up and they're like, wow, this is the kind of stuff that goes on here. I don't really like Twitch. Like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, that's bad for Twitch. That's bad for their future and their business.
Agreed. 100%.
Boom! Done. Interview over.
Oh, no. So, obviously, you've experienced it. You've dealt with the misogyny on your own end. For those women, younger women, older women, whatever, women in general, having experienced it, having come out on the other side a little bit, what is your advice?
My God.
How do you handle it?
Do I get to give a message right now?
Yeah!
Oh my God.
The box is all yours.
Wow, that's so
that has
exciting.
A negative connotation. The platform is yours, you know.
So, yeah, for sure. So, whew, oh man, this is a big question, my friend. This is a big question.
Also, how can we fix world peace? Go ahead.
Please. I am not on Miss America right now. So I think the biggest thing that you can do is still just creating and just being there and being present in the community, because there's this thing that Aniki kind of made me realize, and that's that if you can't see it, you can't be it, right? So if you're there and you're trying to accomplish something in the gaming industry, whether that's you want to be the next stream coach or you want to be the next Michelle Morrow and be like on stage presenting at esports competitions, being like an actual esports host, like there's so many opportunities, and when young girls see more women in these positions, those young girls will be more likely to pursue those opportunities. And you could be that next person, right? Like, if you just stick with it and pursue your passions, like, yes, there are going to be haters. There are haters everywhere on the internet, and everyone gets hated on for something or another. And I definitely empathize with people that get hated on for something that they can't change, right? Like, you can't change the color of your skin. Like, you know, it's just, it's stupid. So just like continue doing the thing that you enjoy, because at some point people will start taking you seriously, and you'll probably always get haters, but haters are actually extremely important to you being able to clarify who you are and to serve the people that you want to serve extremely well. Like, everybody thinks that haters are just this bad thing that you want to stay away from, but the people that speak out against you are actually extremely important, and they're such a huge piece of you actually being able to build a brand or build a community or build anything online that means anything. Because they show you who you are, and they show you who you don't serve, and they show you who you serve and how you can serve them better, because you can't serve everyone.
100%.
Yeah, so it's definitely like, just stick with it, stick with whatever you're doing. If you truly enjoy it, don't let people tell you not to just because of the color of your skin or what's between your legs or any other reason. If you genuinely enjoy the thing that you're doing, keep doing it, and the trolls won't bother you because you know you're doing it and you enjoy it, and someday somebody is going to be impacted by what you're doing.
There you go. That's beautiful. I actually really like that. I love your take on the negativity and the trolls and the haters. So basically, just sum it up, you just said, fuck the haters.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry,
yeah. They literally don't matter. Like,
is your stream PG-13?
Wait, what?
Is your stream PG-13?
Oh, yeah, no, you're good.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
you're fine.
I just realized I dropped the F-bomb. I'm like, that's not the third time I've done that. I apologize. And I interrupted you. What a jerk. Sorry.
No, you're good. I try to stay like a bit more family friendly, but I mean, you know, they understand that like it's a podcast, so it's your guys' thing. It's your guys' thing. That's what we're doing tonight.
What were you saying when I interrupted you? I'm sorry.
Oh God, I don't remember.
I'm sure whatever it was,
Please.
It was poignant and very, very intelligent.
Yeah, I'm sure it was very. I'm sure it was very smart because see, I'm smart and hilarious, and I'm
like
sure that's what it was.
A blazer suit thing.
I know. Do you like it?
It's just very nice. It's very nice.
I actually just got back from a business meeting, so.
I saw it on Instagram stories. Like, that is a very smart looking outfit. Anyway, so obviously they came out with some new community guidelines. I think all of us have had a chance to read them. We will let our esteemed guest throw her into the fire first. What did you think of it?
I love it. I think it's great. Like, all right. So yes, Twitch taking more of a stance on anti-harassment is huge because it leads to the platform being able to stay around longer. Like we said earlier, having an inclusive community and inclusive terms of service is super important to the longevity of the gaming community. And they also introduced another rule. Okay, wait. So the rule that I just talked about is that Twitch is taking a stronger anti-harassment stance. Yeah. And that anti-harassment stance travels to other platforms as well. So
I was surprised by that. Yeah.
I think that's huge because now you can't just take a situation from Twitch and go to Twitter and complain about Twitch, right? You can't go to Instagram and complain about Twitch. What happens whenever somebody does that is if they're like more of a YouTube community member that might have been thinking about streaming on Twitch, or might have been, maybe they're not so happy with YouTube and they want to explore other platforms and see where they fit. When people see all this negativity, of course, it reflects badly on the platform. Yeah. So if somebody who has the opportunity of switching at some point sees all this negativity about Twitch, they're not going to switch, right? Not that like this entire idea of this anti-harassment policy is to get more people onto Twitch, but that's a small piece of what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. The main thing is that they're just trying to invest in their community more and make sure that they are they're protected and they're taken care of. And why would we not want that if we legitimately care about the gaming community? Like, it's not about, you know, making people into victims or any of this crazy stuff that people are saying. It's about protecting the people that are a part of your community. Like, Twitch is a huge community, and there are many communities inside of it, like tiny ones, that deserve to all feel safe and respected, and all of these different people with different backgrounds like need to have the opportunity to feel like they belong.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And so that's what that piece of it is. The second piece was that they are changing the rules for dress code on the platform. So there's been a huge influx since the introduction of the IRL category, which is just, you know, nobody's playing games. They're just hanging out, doing laundry or cooking or whatever with their community. And the change is that people actually have to like have content that is valuable for people in a way that is acceptable for all demographics, or most of them at least. And we have to think that also like they're kids on this platform, right? Like we should all move our content towards more family friendly oriented kind of stuff. And yes, there are going to be, you know, side streams in the outside that their value is that's not what they are. They're not family friendly. They're meant to be like an after dark style of show. And that's still valuable and useful and has its place as well. But I think that, you know, to be an extremely influential streamer and to not be considerate of the entire viewer base of Twitch, if you've got, you know, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 viewers all the time, and you're not being considerate of every potential person that could come into your channel, you're losing not only a lot of opportunities for growth, but also opportunities just to impact people's lives.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yes, like, don't get me wrong, I am all for women like being able to take charge of their sexuality and being able to like wear whatever they want and, you know, talk about sex openly if they want to, and really like be self-possessed and feel powerful in who they are. And, you know, if you want to have a lewd Patreon, whatever. If you want to do not safe for work pictures on Snapchat, whatever. Like, that's totally fine if that's your business model. But at the same time, like, we have to be respectful of the platforms that we're using to accomplish that business model. And if Twitch's rule is that they don't want it because they want to be more family friendly because it's video games and it's a naturally like more like younger demographic, then we have to be respectful of that.
I think that's a really interesting response, because and it definitely changed my mindset, because I was always under the impression like, okay, there's going to be women that stream and maybe they're dressed what some people would consider inappropriately, but if that's what makes them feel strong and empowered, then who's to stop them? Like, that's going to be their version of streaming. Why should someone say that they can't do that, or why should they say that that's not the way to stream? But I think you make a good point that, you know, if it is a platform for everyone, then your content should be for everyone in that respect too. So I definitely like that way of thinking. I think for me, my biggest problem came from a lot of male streamers attacking maybe more lewd female streamers, because really the heart of it came from, they were basically, their thought process was those women were taking away their viewers. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's not fair, because they can get all these views and I'm over here with my 5 or 10 views, and that's just not fair. You know, they should be able to do that on Twitch. It's like, in my opinion, two different viewerships. People that are going to want to watch them really aren't going to be interested in your content anyways. So, I mean, if I'm just being honest, so
I mean, like, there could be times where maybe you want to watch something that's more provocative, and then there could be times that you don't, and you just want to watch video games, or you want to watch like Shroud just snipe everybody in 0.1001 seconds.
It's alright in watching him play video games.
It's disgusting, yeah. God. But yeah, there's not necessarily that harsh of a divide. I wouldn't say that like those audiences don't cross over at all, but
Sure.
I definitely think that obviously these women are providing a value that other people aren't, and that's why they're getting all of these viewers. And if you're not providing that value, you're not going to get the viewers. But also, like, there have been studies done about Twitch that have literally proven that it's not easier for women. It's
Right.
not. Like, what happens is, yes, you know, sometimes actually this might even not even be the case anymore, because in the last couple of years the number of women on Twitch has increased. But since at the time that this study was done, it showed that yes, women get more people to come into their channels on average, but the amount of people that actually are converted from that just random passerby into a consistent viewer is much, much, much less than a
Sure.
man's opportunity to do the same thing.
Well, and there's a
And so-
flip side. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. So basically, we get more people to look at us, but they don't take us seriously enough to click follow or to subscribe.
There's no support behind it.
Right. There's no like legitimate actual support. They come in probably because they're trying to troll or, you know, just see the way that we look and judge us on our physical appearance, and then they leave.
Right.
That's actually what I was gonna say. The flip side of they come in, you look nice or whatever, but then they don't think you're a good gamer because she's a girl. She's a girl. She can't play games the way I play games because I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Like that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the idea that females have it easier on Twitch is this weird like slanted view, and I think it's honestly based mostly in jealousy. Because I think, you know, so I like for me personally, I stream every day of the week and I put in a buttload of time streaming. Maybe I need a stream coach and I need to fix it. I think that might be the problem. But then if you look at someone who like doesn't stream that often, and now this isn't my point of view at all whatsoever, but if they're showing their cleavage or whatever, and then they get a bunch of people in there, I think some people will see that and they'll just get bitter and angry and jealous.
Yeah.
And they want to direct that anger. And that becomes a problem because then that misogyny doesn't just land on bikini streamers, but it lands on women in general. Like I've been reading articles just to prepare for tonight, and the number of women who don't like are wearing what I'm wearing, like a hoodie and a hat or something, and they get called sluts or they get made fun of for what they're wearing or like just being pretty and or having too much makeup. It's insane. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be a streamer. If I had to deal with that, I couldn't do it. I have a hard enough time if someone's like, "Wow, your mustache needs cut" or something. I'm like, "Oh no." But I don't know how. I get that people get jealous. I genuinely do. But the idea that it's unfair or something is just, it's kind of mind-boggling. I don't know.
Yeah. You definitely learn to build up a thick skin pretty quickly.
So they said basically though that the new clothing, the new dress code is I had it highlighted and I'm looking for it here. But basically mall attire is what they said. Something that you would go out into a restaurant. Yeah, a restaurant, a mall, basically out in public, anything that you would be comfortable with that. So that's a lot more broken down and clear cut than it was before. It was kind of ambiguous before. I mean, it's still open to some interpretation, not a whole lot. I've been to some pretty trashy malls, but for the most part, I like that. I think it's great. Not that I'm like the high god of Twitch rules, but it's going back to what I was saying. Like as Twitch grows, in order for it to be a successful place for people, like you were saying, people to come and congregate and grow in these communities and be accepted, but also just as a business plan for Twitch, like they need these rules in place. And I think Twitch, even at the beginning, said that they didn't do a good job. If I'm remembering this whole thing, they said that these guys. Well, either way, they said something along the lines of they hadn't been doing a good job in the beginning, and then at the end they said that from now on they're going to be more active. They said that they had in the coming months we will be revising our enforcement policies for both partners and non-partners. our appeals process, IRL guidelines, and preventing user-to-user harassment. It sounds like Twitch is kind of getting their act together, and all of the I kind of feel like, and I know this is like just the dumbest thing I could say, not the dumbest, but one of them. With all these new guidelines and stuff, I hope that some of the drama will just disappear. That's maybe a little optimistic. That's maybe really, really optimistic. But I'm hoping that maybe some of the knuckleheads will shut up. Of course, they're just going to complain about something else.
Right.
But I really like, personally, I really like these new community guidelines, and I like knowing what I can and can't do. Not that I'm getting naked on my stream or anything like that.
Yeah, my only problem with like mall attire is that it's still a little ambiguous, right? They don't really say like, they don't really go into super detail, but I think it's kind of meant to be like that because it lets Twitch still have a say in the judgment process. Yeah. So like there can be times where maybe they put, yes, women can show cleavage, but they can't wear like little shorts and have their camera angled down their shirt or something.
Right.
Or maybe not the angled down their shirt. Maybe they just say like, yes, women can show cleavage. But if they don't like really outline the terms of that, then it could be taken advantage of. Yeah. And so I think the reason that they're leaving it a little ambiguous is because they just say like, hey, you know, nothing sexually explicit, nothing that you wouldn't wear to the mall. But if we see you and you say, oh, well, I'm not wearing something sexually explicit, but you still have like a V-neck on and you're, you know, bouncing around or something. I don't know if you're like, you know, still doing kind of lewd acts, and they're still able to take an action against you. Right. So it might be strategic. It might also be because they're still kind of trying to refine it, but it's hard to say right now because they're still obviously working on this. This is still like a work in progress, and it's not something that, as I said earlier, can be kind of figured out overnight. It's not a resolution that we can come to extremely quickly. Like think about what they're doing. They're doing something that's literally never been done before. Yeah. And they have an incredible responsibility. Yeah. They have millions of people on the platform consistently, and Twitch has to find a way to roll these rules out in a way that, you know, is inclusive and takes care of all groups, but also in a way that's kind of strategic and gets things accomplished at the right times and in the right way. So I'm sure their team is doing an awesome job of making sure that, you know, they're putting in the work to try and just kind of make everyone aware as quickly as they can and as make people feel like as recognized as well.
Okay. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't want that to be interpreted as a criticism. What I was saying, I mean, Twitch has got a bear of a task in front of them, and they're doing, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're doing a great job, in my opinion. So there we go. Trevor, did you have any other questions?
Honestly, I think all of my questions have been answered. We've covered quite a bit already, but yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of the at least all the questions that I had.
All right. Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm good. I think you guys did a great job of kind of keeping everything on topic and valuable and interesting for people.
I tried. The nervousness is starting to me. I'm feeling good. It helps that you have been a phenomenal guest.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, thanks.
You're fantastic, because I write these questions up and I'm like, please don't be someone that's just like, yes, no, maybe. Like expound upon it. And you did amazing. Now, I do have a quick thing that we do with all of our guests. We're still working it out, and I made a new list of questions. We always ask these questions to our guests, and they're both serious and goofy, so feel free to have fun.
Oh, let's go.
Let's just jump into them. There's 10 questions, and I did rip I ripped these questions off of Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton this week, so we'll see. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word?
Yeah.
Right now is lexicon. Because I just got to use it in a YouTube video, and it was very fun. I never thought I'd get to use that in my life.
Testing my knowledge. A lexicon is a book of words. Is that
Yeah, it's basically like the accepted vocabulary of groups. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. I was gonna is it where you define words? And then my brain was like, hey Zach,
that's a dictionary.
Let's be more vague so she'll fill in the rest. What is your least favorite word?
It's the R word.
Okay.
The R word. I hate it so much.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Oh, this is beautiful. Wow. It's got to be people like taking action and pursuing their dreams and enabling them to do that. I will always be in a position in my entire life, I think, of helping people pursue their dreams, whether that's on Twitch or online at all, or helping ladies work at the library. I don't know. Like, that's always going to be something I'm doing.
What turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
What turns me off? So definitely people that aren't able to take feedback and adjust their behavior. So if you just kind of like double down on the bad stuff when somebody gives you better options, that's pretty telling of a personality, I would say.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes. Like, everybody will, but if somebody comes to you and they're trying to legitimately help you with that mistake and help you not make it again, and you don't do anything about it, that's on you, my friend. That's on you.
Yes, I agree with you 100% on that one. What is your favorite curse word?
Oh my god, I love so many curse words. It's gotta be the one I use the most, which is just fuck. Fuck. But I like to say it weird. I like to be like, fuck. You want to fuck?
Oh, I mean, if I ever heard that, I know I would be down. Jeez.
Same. Hey, girl. Yo, girl, want fuck?
Someone tells me that won't work if I talk to my wife like that, though. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise do I love?
Yeah.
Man, the ocean.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
For sure.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh my god, I just thought of it and it made me like, it gave me the chills. Gross utensils like on plates when people are
scratching things.
When they're like using a fork and they go on the plate. Oh god, I hate that. It's so cringy.
I started giving them plastic spoons and I'm just like, no, I'm done with this. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Ooh. I would love to... Oh, man. I want to be a travel blogger, I think.
Ooh.
Like, make cool content of just, like, traveling and yeah, going over, be a photographer, probably.
I would never have thought of that, but that's
something in production.
That is
awesome.
You seem like that seems like your thing. Like, it seems like you found your niche and like you like making things that help people, it seems like.
Yeah. I've always made stuff and it's so fun.
There you go. What profession would you not like to do?
I mean, any of the terrible ones, like anything that has to do with hanging out in sewers or dumping trash cans or working in fast food. Like, oh god, I worked in restaurants for a long time and that was terrible. I would not want to go back and do that again. Yeah. I would not want to do any job that I'm just not passionate about at this point.
Right.
Well, that's good. That sounds like you're doing what you like then, which is a rare freaking thing.
Yeah. Once you find your passion, you gotta stick with it. You just got to keep following it.
And then last, but certainly not least, Ashley, would you rather fight 27 first graders or one Olympic powerlifter?
Definitely one Olympic powerlifter.
That's too.
He could just knock me out, and then it's fun. And then I just don't remember anything. But if I'm getting punched by like 27 little kids, it's gonna take forever, dude. That's gonna be terrible. Just knock me out.
You don't think you have a chance against those kids, then, huh?
Yeah, no. No.
You know your limits. That's fantastic.
I've gone to the gym like 3 days in a row. So there's that.
Sounds pretty. You're pretty buff to me. It sounds like. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I've been working out, you know.
Again, thank you so much, Ashley Christ, for coming on and doing this podcast with us. I know I've had a blast. I can speak for Trevor and say he had a blast.
Yes, absolutely.
And we hope to get to talk to you again. Hopefully something else happens on Twitch and we'll have to call our favorite Twitch consultant and we'll have to discuss it and figure it out. But thank you so much for being here. And yeah, thank you guys for watching us. Again, this has been FAMcast episode 35. Thank you, Trevor. I can never remember the episode number. If you want to catch us, as per usual, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram and all the things. We're for all Manakind on everything, even Twitch. And yeah, we'll see you guys next episode 36. And who's to know who we might have on that episode? So it'll probably just be us. Let's be honest. Thank you guys so much, and thank you again, Ashley.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, where can people find you, Ashley Christ?
Oh, I'm Ashley Christ literally everywhere. So YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Pinterest, Facebook, like everything is Ashley Christ if I'm there.
And your podcast is the
Stream Coach podcast. Yes, it is on Google, Stitcher, iTunes, and Anchor.
Thank you very much. So there you go, guys. Go check her out. She's amazing. Obviously, you listen to this whole podcast and she made us look like idiots. So she's fantastic.
I've got to like counter a compliment with the ugly face.
No, that's good. You got to like self-deprecate a little so you stay here with the common man.
Exactly.
Or woman. Common man or woman. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
Bye.